A friend of mine a couple doors down 2 or 3 years ago said, you know where you need to plant a bunch of tulips is around the corner there where Dixon Street comes around and highlights this upper garden of downtown Greens.
It's true.
And at the time I thought, well, yeah, we could plant a lot of tulips there. I think there's 4,000 of them here. But at the time I thought, well, who's going to buy that many bulbs? Well, it turns out nobody had to, because Blumia gave us 60,000 of them. And all of a sudden we had a different problem, how to get them all in the ground. And I picture this as kind of an entryway into downtown from the south. And it's beautiful, like you said.
I stood here with you last fall when we planted these.
Yeah.
And so I've been watching them.
Yeah.
And especially as the winter went on and you started to see them, you know, starting to pop up. And boy, the last just couple of weeks, it is a great entryway. You're right.
Yeah. It just says welcome to Tulip Land. And then on Caroline Street, there's a row of pink ones in the corner lot that's just spectacular too. And then they're just starting to pop. I'd say there's like 25% are here and done, and there's still 75% of tulips that are yet to open.
Okay, so this is gonna go on now then for at least a few more weeks.
Yeah, I've always noticed that the beginning of the end of the peak is about tax day. And that seems like it's a long way off, but in a couple of weeks,
we're going to be
we'll
there.
see them all.
Yeah.
And these might be gone, but you know, they each have their moment. And these are double tulips called negritas, and they're just something to see. I told Sarah from Downtown Greens that they were going to be pink. It turns out, well, they're more of a purple.
They're purple, but
she wanted them to match the house over there, the coneflower, and I said, "Oh yeah, we got you covered. 1,000,000 pinks."
Well, it's a learning process every year after year. I mean, this is year 3 now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've been planting them in front of my house for about 10, but the growth of, you know, street by street has happened over the last 3 or so. And then next year, Blumia says they're going to double their donation of tulips, which gets us to 120,000.
Uh-oh.
And
can you control yourself?
A friend of mine said, "You're like the dog who caught the car. You know, now you got to figure out what to do with it." But yeah, we had so many volunteers this year, and I'm optimistic that it'll expand next year. And while I'm talking about that, let me show you this. You'll find these tulip stickers around town that say Tulips Fredericksburg.
Yep.
And we have an Instagram page, and I think a Facebook that will link up, and you'll be able to see where the tulips are planted and what the plans are for next year, because next year we expect to need a lot more volunteers. And the fact is, anyone who's had a shovel in their hand and contributed to this, they get an extra 5 months of enjoyment while they wait for these tulips to happen. It's just like you were saying.
Yeah.
You start noticing them and wondering about them. And then the snow came in January, and that kind of stopped us from planting them when I still had probably 20,000 left. But we got them in the ground, and they're kind of doing their job now, which is you know, beautifying our town and making people happy.
I remember in the fall, the day we planted these, and you said that we would all have ownership, and I kept watching and watching.
Yeah.
And I remember how you talked about how snow would, you hoped for a snow because as it melted, it would the water would go down, and that would help the tulips.
Yeah. And it's a nice mental image. I always joke with people that they have to say night-night tulips after they plant them. Yeah. Because you have this mental image that they're sleeping under the snow.
Yeah.
And then they do this, you know, in March, some of them in February this year, but the real time is still coming in April. I've got family members coming in from out of town just to see the tulips.
Well, and this has been your dream. This has been your goal to get Fredericksburg to latch onto this, and I think Fredericksburg has latched onto this.
Yeah, it's. I feel like the tulips do it. You know, we can push dirt around, but they're the ones that actually do the connecting part, where they, you know, they cause us to realize that we don't have to agree on everything, but we can still all enjoy these flowers. You know.
And in this time, it's just, in this time, whether it's COVID or whether it's politics or whatever, this has been something that everybody can agree on.
Sure. And if you can't, just divert your eyes and, you know, go look at daffodils. But it happens that, you know, I personally think the real magic is in the tulips. And there are iris people, and, you know, I love them all, but these don't last too long, but while they're here, they definitely get your attention. I was just saying, I can't drive through town without jumping out and taking pictures.
Yeah, yes. Before it, I thought, as you were taking pictures here, I thought you planted them, and now you're taking pictures of them.
Yeah, and it's like painting, you know. It just takes 5 months to see the color come up. And there's still plenty of them in town that haven't peaked.
That's good to know, because the other day, I was going around and I was thinking, did I miss him? Did I miss him? And so, okay, I was just early.
Yeah, and then this year, the variable was many of the bulbs came from Blumia. And we weren't sure if they're early, middle, or late tulips, and really the colors were a little bit jumbled in transit, and so we're learning as we go. But it's a fun education.
If someone wants to get involved in the future, just what's the best way to do that? That
Instagram page, Tulips-FXBG.
Okay.
And that'll have notifications of any volunteer efforts. And next year, Blumia is threatening to really bury us in bulbs, so we're going to have a plan, house by house, neighborhood by neighborhood. I want to mention Downtown Greens lent us a whole bunch of these useful things this year, and the McDaniels gave us the use of their house down below, their little warehouse on the river.
To store the bulbs?
Yeah, we had the perfect unheated storage in there for 60,000 bulbs. And so that was lucky, because it was right on City Dock and it was convenient. I don't think we could pull it off without that. So I want to mention Mary Wynn and her husband Mac, because we're signing them up for next year.
Well, Tim, this is just terrific.
And who else? Blumia, Werner Jansen, a lot of my friends, Brent Brady and Susie and Jeff Olin, and Nick Cadwallander, and I'm probably forgetting some people, but next year we're just going to grow it. And the more people who actually get to plant tulips, like I said, they get the enjoyment multiplied by months of anticipation.
Well, you start planting them about November, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, Werner is saying we may start in October. And that'll be interesting, because I've never had them in the ground that long, which means that their roots will have a chance to grow longer. Okay. And, you know, they may be even more spectacular. We'll have to see. Yeah, and there'll be some of these tulip stickers in different businesses around town. I'm just leaving them on counters.
Okay.
People can feel free to grab them and stick them on something, or else just use that as a reminder of where to find us.
It's the start of just something wonderful.
Yeah, let's hope so.
And now it gets bigger every year. And that's what's exciting.
Yeah, and I think if we push Blumia to donate even more, they'd probably say yes. So we'll see.
Whole city, some year though. You talked about a tulip festival.
Yeah. And we need music, and we need you know, it's just a fun thing. At the very least, they're pretty to look at, and they make you feel good just as the weather starts to turn.
Well, what's interesting is the past few weeks, as the trees have turned, and we've had so you go from the trees to the tulips.
Yeah.
And it kind of extends spring. And the daffodils.
You know, this year it seemed like the tulips were crashing the daffodil party a little bit. And there's still a lot of nice daffodils around town. But again, it just causes you to pay attention and notice a few more things than you might have otherwise. And
you've got a lot of pictures to be taking in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I have to create a lot of content for that Instagram page, but it's easy.
It's fun.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, and you should take a look at the new Tulips Fredericksburg mascot.
Oh, okay.
Ruby.
Who is this?
Ruby.
Ruby.
She's red, as you might notice. She's a lab. And
come fall, Ruby will be a little. This Ruby, I don't know that you'll be able to pick Ruby up like that.
No, she'll be a good helper by then. So yeah, my wife and I, Cindy and I, aren't sleeping much now because we have this baby who likes to she likes to sing at night in her crate. But we're hoping that's just a short phase.
Tim, thank you.
You're welcome.
I look forward to this, and over the next few weeks, just look forward to going around town and seeing the colors around town.
Yeah, and it's nice that you've got the the tulip problem, you know. Not everybody has it, but the people who do, you know, they definitely get excited about it.
Yep,
And,
I have been. I've been waiting to talk to you. I've been waiting to watching these come up.
Even if we just do this again, you know, fine-tune it a little with about the same number of tulips, it's still definitely worth seeing. But
it is.
But there's part of me that thinks, why not make it even bigger? So
I look forward to it.
So join up if you like the tulips. Go on Instagram and you'll be able to join up next year.